Every few years, a car company quietly drops something that makes you stop scrolling, lean forward, and say, wait a second, that actually looks good. And that's exactly what happened when Honda revealed the early details of the 2026 Honda Passport. It feels like Honda finally listened to what people actually wanted in a mid-size SUV. Something strong, modern, spacious, and capable without being overly complicated. The Passport has always been that underrated middle child between the CR-V and the Pilot. Not too big, not too small, and always kind of tough in its own way. But the 2026 model, it takes that personality and turns it up a notch. You look at it and the first thing you think is, yeah, that's finally a proper adventure SUV. The lines are sharper, the stance is wider, and the front end looks way more confident than ever before. Honda didn't reinvent the Passport, they just refined it into something bolder and more mature. One of the biggest upgrades everyone's talking about is the introduction of the hybrid powertrain. Honda is clearly moving toward a cleaner, more efficient future, and the Passport is finally joining the party. The 2026 model pairs a refined 4-cylinder engine with Honda's new hybrid system, and from what early reports suggest, it's going to give you better fuel economy without losing that familiar Passport punch. If anything, the hybrid actually adds more low-end torque, which means easier passing, smoother acceleration, and a way more comfortable everyday drive. And honestly, that hybrid setup might become the new favorite for people who take their SUVs off the pavement. The Passport has always been a bit of a hidden gem when it comes to light off-roading, but now Honda is dialing up the capability. The ground clearance is slightly higher, the suspension feels more rugged, and the new AWD system has smarter terrain management. Mud, snow, gravel, you name it. The 2026 Passport is built to handle it without making you feel like you're driving a tank. But let's be real, most people don't buy SUVs just for trails. They buy them because life needs space. Grocery bags, kids, trips, sports gear. A lot of us need a vehicle that just makes daily life easier. And this is where the 2026 Passport really steps up. The interior looks cleaner and more premium than the past models. Honda reshaped the dashboard, improved the materials, and added more soft touch areas so it feels less traditional Honda and more upscale. The new infotainment screen is bigger, brighter, and finally fast enough to keep up with everyone's tapping and swiping. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard, and the updated digital driver display feels modern without being overwhelming. One of the nicest touches is the new seating. Honda made the cushions wider and more supportive, especially in the second row, which means long trips are actually comfortable now. The cabin is noticeably quieter too, thanks to better insulation and a few tweaks to the door seals. And yes, the cargo space is still one of the Passport's strongest points. You open that trunk and instantly go, yep, this can handle anything. But the real question is, how does this compare to the older Passport? The best way to put it is, it feels more grown up. Older Passports were good, but they didn't stand out. They were reliable, roomy, and safe. Classic Honda qualities. But they never had a personality. The 2026 Passport finally leans into its rugged identity. It looks more adventurous, drives smoother, and finally gives buyers something exciting instead of just something practical. And with the hybrid engine, this new model offers way better fuel efficiency, which the older ones couldn't even come close to. Now, in terms of pricing, Honda hasn't officially locked everything in, but early estimates put the base model somewhere around the mid-$40,000 range. The hybrid versions and higher trims will naturally climb higher, probably touching the upper $40,000 or low $50,000. But honestly, for what you're getting, modern tech, hybrid power, more features, and a stronger design, it feels like a fair jump. What I really like is that Honda didn't try to overcomplicate the Passport. They didn't try to turn it into a luxury SUV or an extreme off-road machine. They didn't give it weird touch-sensitive buttons or futuristic gimmicks. Instead, they kept the Passport exactly what people want it to be. A simple, reliable, comfortable, and capable mid-size SUV that you can trust for the next 10 years. And that's something a lot of brands forget. Flashy features don't make a car great. Good engineering does. And the 2026 Passport feels like a return to solid engineering. Everything has a purpose. Everything feels familiar but upgraded. You get better mileage, better styling, better technology, and a better driving experience without sacrificing the things that made the Passport a favorite for families and weekend adventurers. So if you're someone who wants an SUV that isn't oversized like the Pilot, but still stronger and more capable than the CR-V, the 2026 Honda Passport might finally be the perfect middle ground. It looks right. It feels right. And for the first time in years, the Passport actually feels exciting. And honestly, I think this might be one of Honda's smartest releases. With the direction SUVs are heading, people want efficiency, tech, and capability all in one package. And the Passport nails that balance without going overboard. The hybrid is going to attract new buyers. The rugged design is going to win back old fans, and the combination of comfort and practicality, that's exactly what keeps Honda owners loyal year after year. So yeah, if you've been waiting for the Passport to evolve, this is the moment. The 2026 model shows that Honda is paying attention, and it's shaping up to be one of the most well-rounded mid-size SUVs of the year.